We've all heard this, right? We've probably all said it. But let's be honest, does your company really act like it?
You see, for so many companies, there's this huge gap between the big business strategy and the actual skills their teams have. And that's the exact disconnect we're going to tackle today.
So, here's our plan for the next few minutes. We'll unpack that common talent disconnect, introduce a really powerful framework called the value chain, walk through the 6 steps to build it, see how it works in practice, and then we'll wrap up with a concrete action you can take. Sound good? Let's dive in.
Okay, so what's really at the heart of this problem?
It's not about a lack of effort. It's about the lack of a system. And that absence leads to some pretty big strategic failures.
This right here, this is the classic pitfall. This is where most talent strategies just completely fall apart. They're reactive, hiring to put out today's fires, instead of being proactive and building the skills you absolutely know you're going to need tomorrow.
Let's make this really personal for a second. Ask yourself this question. Seriously, if the answer is no, or even a hesitant, "I'm not sure," then listen, you don't just have a retention problem, you've got a system problem.
So, okay, how do we fix it? Well, we have to move from all that chaos and all those disconnected activities to a disciplined system. We need to start treating our talent development with the same kind of rigor we apply to our supply chain or our product roadmap.
And this is the solution. Think of it as a framework for building an end-to-end talent factory. It's engineered to consistently produce the exact skills and the exact leaders you need, not just for today, but for the future you're trying to create. What's great about this framework is that it gives you a super clear, step-by-step roadmap. So let's walk through the 6 core pieces of this value chain.
It all kicks off with your business strategy. Step 1, and this is where most companies fail, is to translate those big strategic goals into the actual human skills you need to achieve them. From there, you can define the roles you'll need in the future, map the right skills to those roles, figure out how you're going to source that talent, design clear career paths, and then build the mentoring and training to make it all happen. See how that flows? Strategy leads directly to a real plan.
Now that 4th step, streamline and source, is a huge strategic crossroads. For every single critical skill gap you find, you have to make a choice. Do we build it internally? That's slower, yeah, but it creates incredible loyalty. Do we buy it by hiring from the outside? It's faster, for sure, but it costs more and there's always a culture risk. Or do we borrow it with contractors? That's flexible, but you're not building a long-term asset. This can't be an afterthought. It's right at the heart of your strategy.
Okay, so theory is great, but let's see how this framework actually translates to the real world. Because a framework is only as good as its application, right? So let's check out a case study.
So picture this. Here's a media company facing a classic strategic problem. Their existing talent pool just could not take them where their strategy said they needed to go. They were completely stuck.
So what did they do? They didn't just panic hire. They started exactly where the framework says you should. They took their strategy, becoming a data-driven powerhouse, and they translated it directly into the roles and the very specific skills they would need to win.
And this is just a brilliant example of a balanced build versus buy strategy in action. They bought senior leadership to get a running start, but they also committed to building their long-term talent pipeline from the ground up. It's a super smart hybrid approach. And look at the payoff. They didn't just fill a few job openings. No, they built an entire talent ecosystem that became a sustainable, long-term competitive advantage.
Okay, this is crucial. How do you know if all this effort is actually paying off? Forget vanity metrics like hours of training completed. That just tells you about activity, not impact. The real question you should be asking is, are we actually developing the leaders we need to win? Here's the metric you need to be obsessed with: your internal fill rate for critical roles. What percentage of your most important jobs are you filling with your own people? A high number, say 75% or more, is a powerful, powerful signal that your talent factory is humming along and producing the leaders you need.
All right, this brings us to the most important part of this whole thing, how you can actually put this into practice with your own team, like right away.
Here's your first step. It's a simple 1-hour meeting. Get your direct reports in a room, pull up your strategic plan, and then ask one simple but incredibly powerful question.
That's it. Just that one question. The conversation that follows is the very first and most important step in building your own people development value chain.